Hi, Bethany Manktelow here. You have joined us for the magnificent monthly Millwall podcast, which features thoughts from the panel about what affects the beautiful game and Millwall. Enjoy!
I'm Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have Bethany Manktelow and Myles Thornton.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, of course they do, really, and tonight's all about that, because what we've got is the two youngest members of our No One Likes Us a Talking team on the show. And we're just going to find out how our two youngest members got engaged with No One Likes Us Talking, a little bit about them, and where they see their place within the Millwall supporting arrangements. Ladies first. Bethany, tell us a little bit. You are a lady, of course. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I'm Bethany. I'm sure a few of our listeners have heard my voice a few times. I am 29. I am married. I've got a lovely husband called James. I've got a wonderful mum and dad, Sandra and Steve. Steve, you will also hear on our podcast. Steve is my dad. And I've got a twin brother called Ben. I live in Essex now, but I'm originally from South East London. I lived in Bexley Heath most of my life. And I work for a charity. So, yeah, and I love everything Millwall. But sort of contrasting to that, people are always shocked when I tell them that I'm a Millwall fan and Millwall season ticket holder, because I'm obsessed with all things theatre, Pink, Disney, super girly, big Disney adult, always have been. But also Millwall is the upper love of my life.
And what about your personal development towards stage life?
So I'm part of an amateur theatre company, the Saffron Walden Musical Theatre Company, just a little plug there. I loved performing from a young age. I trained at Italia Conti School of Performing Arts when I left secondary school, and I sort of fell out of love with acting and performing, really, because the audition process is very hard and you've got to be very, very resilient, and I found myself quite sensitive, so I stopped everything, moved to Saffron Walden, found the theatre company, and I've finished my first show and we're rehearsing for our second one. For my second one. So, yeah, I'm loving it.
Evita, I believe.
Yes, we're rehearsing for Evita, which will be on in March 2025. So that's just started. So that's super exciting. A big contrast from the last show we did, All Shook Up, which is the Elvis jukebox musical, which is based on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. So, bit of a contrast, but it's just as fun, and it's going to be great to be back on stage.
Great. Now, you've just heard the voice that many people say is probably the best voice on all of the Millwall podcasts.
No, really?
Oh,
That's
yes.
so nice.
There you go. So how's that? Anyway, we'll turn away from the best voice on the Millwall podcasts to Myles Thornton, that Bermondsey boy, actually. Tell us a little bit about you, Myles.
Yeah, well, as you said, Eamon, I'm a Bermondsey boy, born and bred, and I'm 18 years old at the minute, currently studying towards a sports business and broadcasting degree at UCFB Wembley, something that wouldn't have been possible without NOLUT, firstly. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and yeah, I'm just trying to pursue that journalism career.
And where did you go to school? Yeah, you went to St Michael's, didn't you, in Bermondsey?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I believe there's a trait in the family of going there as well.
Yeah, many generations have gone there.
There you go. That can't be too bad, can it? When did you join us, Myles?
I joined in January 2023. I wanted to go into podcasting. I didn't really know what one. I listened to this particular one and I thought, you know what, I've got Eamon on Facebook. I'll give it a go. I'll message him. And I did just that, and yeah, we had a few chats, and then I joined up.
Yeah, we're very welcoming, you know. Isn't that right, Bethany? What was your experience?
Yeah, you are. So I was a fan in the dugout, Oh, 2018, 2019, I think.
2018.
Yeah, 2018 was it? Yeah, I remember because we'd not lived in Stansted long at that time. I think you asked me to come back on again, and then I was a guest for a while, and then I was on the panel, and then I started hosting.
That's it.
Yeah.
You've done quite well, really, haven't you? And
Not too bad.
You've enjoyed yourself.
I have. I loved it. I never really thought about podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. I usually prefer, if I'm not listening to a musical theatre soundtrack, I'm listening to a podcast. It's usually about murder and true crime and all that. But then I do have my football podcast as well. So, yeah. Then I joined and I haven't looked back.
Quite a mix there, Bethany.
Yeah, just a I've got to be all like well-rounded, just all different.
Have you got anything you'd like to ask Myles, Bethany?
Do you remember your first ever Millwall game?
Yes, I believe. I think it was Scunthorpe at home. No, that's the first one I can remember anyway. Yeah, Scunthorpe. I'm not sure, I'm really not sure. It could.
Back in the dark days,
Maybe 2016, potentially.
So what was yours, Bethany? That's the other question.
I really don't remember my first one because I remember going to some as a kid, and I remember watching Neil Harris. I remember watching Tim Cahill. So I must have been about 8 or 9. But the one I remember clearly would have been, it was 2011. It was one of the first home games of the season. It could have even been the first one. It was Millwall Peterborough, and we won. We drew 2-2, and it was Liam Trotter and someone else.
But Liam Trotter obviously caught the eye.
Yes, I remember, and I remember Darius Henderson assisted both of them, but I cannot remember for the life of me who scored second. But yeah, we drew 2-2 with Peterborough.
Darius Henderson, the man that could have been the Incredible Hulk. There you go. There you go. Myles, have you got anything you'd like to ask Bethany?
Yeah, Bethany, a little bit about your theatre shows, really. I was going to ask you, like, how did you get into, well, you said it earlier about how you got into it. That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. I was performing, I was always performing as a kid. They couldn't stop me. I was the amazing Angel Gabriel in the Nativity. Wasn't too happy that I wasn't Mary, but the angel was fine. I was in a Disneyland advert. I was on some CBBC shows and I loved it as a kid. Decided that it was what I was going to pursue. My school were really pushing me to go into primary school teaching because they were like, acting isn't a career. It won't. You shouldn't go into that. But then my drama department were like, no, you're gonna apply for drama school and you're gonna get in. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. I got in, but it turned out it just wasn't the career for me. It was just something that I enjoyed doing for fun, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, doing things for fun is what we do every Thursday, and sometimes other times of the week as well. Doesn't always go to plan, but hey ho, it can be. I just cannot forget the hamster event, Bethany.
My hamster. Oh, she's so naughty. So usually she's really good, and I've managed to train her. She responds to her name. She'll go and do things if I tell her to do them. And for whatever reason that night, she just wouldn't stop chewing on her cage. I'd given her the food. I'd changed up her cage. So she had loads of enrichment. Nothing was working. So I just remember going, Leia, stop it.
Yes. And what's her name again? What's her name again?
Her name is Princess Leia.
Oh, Leia. You said Leia.
Yeah.
I can remember you saying Leia.
Yeah, we have Star Wars names for our pets.
Yeah. I've kept that clip. I think it's brilliant. I think we'll feature it on the Christmas show.
Yeah, we should do a blooper reel or something.
Yeah, that's it. Myles, what's your funniest moment?
My funniest moment. I always find it amusing when I see George's editing the show. Because I know something's going to go wrong when George is editing the show.
That's so true.
You know, whenever we have a chat before we press record, I say, "Oh God, Jules, you're editing. Something's going to go wrong," and it always does. Always does.
And you reckon that's true, Bethany?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know why. It's George. It's just George. Whatever it is about George.
Well, he'll be pleased to hear that. No doubt it'll give him a bigger excuse to turn around to me and say, "Well, I can't do it tonight, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see." Bless him. Over time, there's some brilliant quotes and people getting names of players ever so entertainingly wrong. Ted last week, he just could not say Ivanovic. He couldn't say it.
You couldn't say that.
Neither could
I
you.
couldn't, because I was thinking of what he was saying. Well, Ivanovic, and I thought, God, well, you want a Klovic in a minute. That was one, and then there's another character on the show who pronounces Tanganga in so many different ways. It's just incredible.
I think I've managed to teach him it's Tanganga, not Tananga.
Oh, you'll have to try with someone else then.
Okay.
I'll put you in touch, and you can give him voiceover education. So no, that's pretty good. Has there been anything, Myles, that has shocked you from any of our, I suppose, guests when you've listened to the show?
Well, I don't know if anyone's ever heard this story, but Phil Coleman won the 1979 FA Youth Cup. That was quite shocking. I've never. Really?
When did he say that then? When was that then?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember now. He hasn't said it much.
No, I fear not. At least now that we've got him on Tales from his boot room, he says it less frequently. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is a bonus. How about you, Bethany? Do you recollect anything that any player has said that sort of made you go, blimey?
I don't think so, but I think a player that sort of surprised me the most about just how lovely he is was Aidan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, he was kind, he actually took a genuine interest in what we were saying, how we were, and he had some great things to say, but I don't know, you see some young footballers, and I'm not saying that this is for any of necessarily the Millwall players, I'm sure there are some of them, but some young players who have got a little bit of success really think that they are everything and that the world revolves around them. And I didn't necessarily think that of Aidan O'Brien, but he was just so lovely, and it was just really refreshing to see a young man talk so wonderfully about football and the stuff that he does for the community and for kids. So that was a nice surprise, I think. I don't think there's been anything that's made me go, oh. I don't think so.
No.
Not on my shows, anyway.
Okay. Well, he's plying his trade out in the Republic of Ireland now, and he's in with a chance of getting a medal as a league winner. But we'll have to wait and see. And we'll get him back if he does. That'll be good, won't it?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. So, Myles, when you joined us, were you apprehensive about what we did and what you wanted to do, or did you have a plan?
At that point, no, I didn't have a plan. I wanted to get started some way. I didn't know how I was going to get started, and I thought I'd give it a go, trying the podcasting route. And thankfully, that's what has actually helped it quite a bit. Yeah, I didn't have a plan when I joined, but I certainly do now.
As I've always said, if you've got a plan, it'll work. If you haven't, it don't happen. What about you, Bethany? I know your journey has been quite some time, really, with us now. It won't be long before we're giving you the 10-year medal, actually. It's not that far away.
That is so scary that you say that. It's not that far away.
Yes, it could be all of 3 years in the new year.
Oh, yeah. My God. Yeah, I don't think it's anything that I expected to be a part of. Especially, you know, as a woman, you don't really see a lot of women on football podcasts. There are a few, and it was so nice to be welcomed by a group of men and some women that just took on this young girl that loves Millwall. I love doing it. It's one of my favourite hobbies.
Well, that's excellent. What would you say to that, Myles, to an aspiring person that comes out with views like that?
I'd agree with that. If you want to go into the route of, you know, podcasting or journalism or anything, joining up would be amazing for you.
Yeah, and we could always do with some more young and inspiring people, because the majority of us are the wrong side of 50. Yeah, I think that's right to say. Without a doubt. And some of us, well, I won't go down that route, but there you go. It's an intriguing arena, and it is brilliant to have you guys on. So, Myles, you on match days actually broadcast to Maritime Radio, which is based in Greenwich, covers South East London and North West Kent. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's an opportunity that arose through NOLUT, through the relationship between the two. It was something that, as I joined NOLUT and started progressing, I looked into potential career opportunities through, you know, podcasting, what I can do. It was something that I was very, very much ready to try and take on. And thankfully now I've been given the opportunity to go in the press box every game and brought live out to the Maritime Radio listeners.
And that's a really good thing, and it's something that you do very well. And most recently you've stepped in on absentee Jeff Burnage, who's enjoying himself somewhere down in the Cornish Riviera this couple of next weeks, and you picked up on the Lionesses, so that's come across quite well as well. So that's good stuff. Bethany, what would you like to do any more of or any differently with us?
Oh, that is a good question. Something I think that would be really good if we could somehow facilitate it is if we did a live podcast of us all in a room, or I think in a room would be good, and just sitting down and talking about the club that we love. I'd love to do something like that. I'd also love to see another girl close to my age on the pod as well, as a regular member.
Well, that'd be really nice, but unfortunately Myles only knows ones that are younger than him, so we won't be able to do that. But I think that would be good. Now, the potential for all of you sitting in a room and recording that live is going to be upon us shortly. And I'm hoping that starts in November. And it'll be on a Saturday evening, so it'll be after a game at the Den. But it would require us to trip up to Greenwich, to Maritime Studios, to do it. But that's okay, because you and Steve can go along, and then you can get home from there, can't you?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
That'll be good. And Myles has been learning how to operate all the studio equipment, haven't you, Myles?
Yeah, hopefully.
That was an yeah. What was the yeah?
Well, since I started university, it's all took a bit of a back step, but I'm hoping to get back on that. But yeah, there's something that I'm looking into, and hopefully a nice little announcement shortly about potential new opportunities there.
Good. Well, you'll be doing some stuff there of your own. But we as Millwall No One Likes Us Talking will be doing a monthly show live at Maritime Studios in not the too distant future. So there you go. Your wish is there, Bethany.
Amazing.
Slightly predicted the future.
It was, wasn't it? Eh? Straight off the back of me pen.
They do call me a witch. They do.
They do. Oh, I'll have to remember that when you're on the show, Myles, won't you?
When there's a full moon out, you know.
Well, there you go. Full moons and witches. Myles, where do the family hang out at the Den?
it's only really me and my mum in the family that go to Millwall. I say this in speech marks regularly. Obviously, I go every game. My mum tries to get along as often as possible, but if not, she's always listening in or watching at home.
Yeah.
If it's on a night game, she can watch it. But yeah, when we do go, we sit in block 40 with Harvey Brown and family and friends.
That's nice. You're quite close with Harvey and the Brown family. We can often find you in their company if they're in the Trust building or even in Harvey's Den Cafe that is no longer within the Brown hands, but they retain the name, and Ellie Milliken runs the shop there with a few other young ladies, and they do a good job in there, don't they, Myles?
Yeah, they do. They do a really good job.
And I'd say if you're early to the Den on match days, go in and enjoy what's there. Bethany, you and your father Steve, well, locate in a very interesting place, as I found out when I was, not so recently, but last season, I was on the pitch and you were in the stands, and you're in a most entertaining block, aren't you?
Oh, we are absolutely in the most entertaining block. I absolutely love where we sit. I never want to leave our seats. I always want to make sure we get those seats. So we are in block 30 and we are in row C, directly next to the away dugout. So my dad sits directly next to it and I sit next to him. We were so lucky that those 2 tickets came up when we decided to get season tickets back in 2014, I think.
Good.
That season.
Yeah.
And it is the most entertaining, honestly. I remember when we played Leicester in the FA Cup, there was somebody behind us and he's brilliant and he learnt Italian to insult Claudio Ranieri, and then we had someone, I can't remember the manager, I can't remember his name, but he was Russian, and then they learnt Russian to insult him in Russian, and it is amazing where we sit. And you know, all of the men that sit around me are they're all like my dads. Funny story actually, the first time I decided to meet Jamie, my husband, we met online and I thought, well, I'm only going to meet him in my safe place, which is Millwall, because my dad couldn't go to a game. So I said, you can come watch a game with me, because I knew if he was a weirdo or I wanted it to end, I had all of these men around me that know me that could help me get out of a bad situation. Luckily, I didn't need to rely on that, and you know, we're married now,
the
so
rest is history.
The rest is history. But yeah, I absolutely love where we sit. Absolutely love it. And
does Jamie know that was your intention?
He does now. He didn't know at the time. No, so we genuinely met because of Millwall. Actually, he's a Southend fan.
Oh dear.
I know. And you know, funny enough, in his wedding speech, he actually pulled up all my old tweets about Southend fans and how they're awful and all this. So he decided to tell everyone that. We had a mutual follower who was a Millwall fan. He sent me a message or slid into my DMs, as they say. I can't convert him to being a Millwall fan. I also don't want to, because, you know, he's Southend, he can stay there. So, yeah.
Well, when you listen to this, Jamie, you can stay in Southend.
Yeah.
Bethany will stay at the Den and in Essex, okay? Never mind. It'll be all right on the night. Goodness gracious. Myles, how long you got at Wembley at the uni?
Yep, I'm there till 2027. Just had to think about it. I'll be graduating in 2027. Hopefully I'll be graduating with a first class degree. That's the aim.
That's your objective. Good. How are you getting on with the arrangements there? Because you must be well in advance of a lot of your uni pals in terms of what you've been doing, aren't you?
No, not really. To be fair, we've all been quite active over the summer or the last year. There's a lot of people there that have already got, you know, experience elsewhere.
Good.
So I think that's really good as well, because we can all share our own experiences and what's happened, maybe, you know, negatives that's happened and also positives. And yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah, I remember in our earlier days they all thought that they might come and talk to us. It wasn't for a podcast to be aired, it was for them to run a podcast with a bunch of Millwall fans. But unfortunately, I don't think they got what they expected. And the likes of me, Henry Morgan, Jeff, were quite pleasant, didn't cause them any grief, and sort of asked them, why are you asking us questions about things that happened 30, 40 years ago? But they haven't come back to us because I don't think we're controversial enough for them. So, Evita, who are you playing in Evita, Bethany?
I'm in the ensemble this year.
Right.
So you'll see me in the background doing lots of nice dances and singing all the songs.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We're really sort of getting into the swing of it now and sort of seeing the vision of the director come together.
Good.
You know, it's when people say amateur theatre, you think it's not so great, but I suppose you can vouch for it. It's a very, very professionally run company.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good.
Earlier this year, and I'm going to enjoy it again next year, but I'm going to have a nice soft cushion to sit on. That's the only downside.
Yeah, those town hall seats aren't the most comfortable.
No, I'm looking forward to that. So, Myles, Millwall this season, what do you think? Where are we going?
Eamonn, we're going up.
Are we?
I've seen enough. We're going up.
You've seen enough? We're going up. What, the table, you mean?
Well, yeah, up the table, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. That's reasonable. Would you add any sort of prediction where we'll finish?
I don't like to predict where we're going to finish because I always get it horribly wrong, but I'd like to think we'd make a playoff push. I'd like to think that.
If you are wrong, we won't hold it against you, okay?
Clip that.
That's fair enough, isn't it? Bethany, what about yourself?
I say it every year. We are going to go to the Premier League.
Right.
I said it when we were in League One. I said we're going to the Championship, and it eventually happened.
It did.
So
it did.
if I keep saying it, it will happen. You know, it's a shame that results haven't really gone our way at the start of the season, but November time is when we really start to come together and it really we start to go on a good run. So I have 100% faith that we're going up. I refuse to say that we will stay in the Championship. We will be going to the Premier League. It's what we need.
and of course you guys, even if those dreams at this moment in time do not come to fruition, you've got so many years in front of you to see it actually happen.
It has to happen at least once.
Some point.
Yeah.
Even if we go straight back down, we can say that we have done it.
We've been there.
That's it, you've done it.
I think that our fans often forget, you know, they see, you know, John Berylson, James Berylson, you know, we've done very well for a while now, you know, under Gary Rowett. I know there's a lot of people that don't like him, and that's fine. I really liked Gary Rowett. I love Neil Harris. He's my favourite. I will always say that. But we were chasing playoff places season after season.
Yeah.
You can't say that's bad.
No, it's good to see. It's good to see. It is good to see. And my fingers are crossed that Neil can sort of reproduce that form this year and beyond. He certainly is playing a different game to the one that he's played when he was with us and he came under fire inappropriately. Let's hope that we can be a bit more closer to that desire that you both want and get to the top flight.
It's what we need and it's what we deserve as young Millwall fans. I know I'm nearly 30, but I'm still saying that I'm young. We deserve it.
Well, you are. You are, yeah. You haven't got to middle age yet. That's the next hurdle, Bethany. I suppose the wonderful thing about both of you is that you are both inspiring in what you do and majorly younger than the rest of the team, but you don't let that sort of go against you. You do a great job. And if there's anybody else out there who would like to join in with Bethany and Myles and be part of the team, we're always there to listen, and we thoroughly enjoy you joining us on No One Likes Us Talking. Well, thanks Bethany, thanks Myles. It's been a pleasure speaking to you both this
Thank you,
evening.
Eamonn. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eamonn. It's been fantastic.
Always good fun. Take care. Keep it safe on the streets out there. And we'll be back with our Millwall fan show on Friday evenings and another monthly show in the not too distant future in November. Bye for now.